I'm going to show you how to do the calculations that go with the concrete pad. And these are very simple calculations, but there's a step-by-step that you have to do, and there's multiple parts to solving this. And you'll find this in all of civil engineering that no single step is hard, but there's a lot of steps involved. So I'm going to walk you through this slowly, and please walk through it with me. Make sure you understand each step, because you're going to use these notes you're taking now to do an activity on your own that will be graded. And you're going to be required to show me that you've done these notes. So I've laid out exactly what to do here. First, calculate the number of cubic feet of concrete. So cubic feet means feet cubed. And we know in volume, we're talking about the amount of space that goes inside, how much concrete is required, and it's feet cubed because this direction we're measuring in feet, this direction we're measuring in feet, and this direction we're measuring in feet. Length times width times height. Length times width times height. Basic geometry stuff. And it tells us here that the pad is 4 inches thick, and then our dimensions of our pad are 18 foot by 16 foot. So what you're going to need to put in your calculator is 12 foot times 16 foot times, now this is giving it to me in inches. Can I just multiply inches? No, I need it all to be in feet to get the feet here. So in order to convert this one, I need to do 12 inches is 1 foot. My inches on top cancels with my inches on bottom, and I'll have foot times foot times foot gives foot cubed. So I'll need to multiply 14 times 16 times 4, divide by 12, and you'll get your answer here. Please be sure you're writing down these notes as you go with the video. So what we get here is 64 foot cubed. Now, concrete companies do not sell concrete by the cubic foot. They sell it by the cubic yard. So instead of giving my answer in feet cubed, I need to convert over to yards cubed. Also, just so you know, sometimes they write feet cubed like this, cubic feet, and the same thing with yards. Sometimes they write cubic yards as not just this, but they sometimes write it like this, cubic yards. So this means the same thing as this. Now in order to convert over, we have to think about what is actually happening with a cubic yard. And I want to kind of show you this so you understand the conversion, because people mess this conversion up a lot. So if I think about a yard, here's a cube. If this is 1 yard, how many feet is on this side? Well, it's 3. So there's 3 feet, 1 foot, 2, 3 foot. The same thing on this side. There's 3 feet here, and the height would also be 1 yard, would also be 3 foot. If I start dividing this up into feet, what I get is 1 cubic foot. This little cube right here was 1 cubic foot, this one. But how many of these cubic feet would I have in a whole yard? Well, I would have 3 times 3 times 3. So 1 cubic yard is equal to 27 cubic feet. 1 cubic yard is 27 cubic feet. So to do this conversion, what I need to do is take my 64 yards cubed and multiply times 27. This is 64 feet cubed. 27 feet cubed and 1 yard cubed. And then do this divide on my calculator. 64 divided by 27 gives us 2.37 cubic yards. You need to understand, though, why it's happening that way, or else you're going to mess this up every time if you just think divide by 3. It's not 3, it's 27, because there's actually 27 of these little cubes that are 1 foot in a cubic yard. Okay, so now it says, and record the amount in the quantity column on the table. So concrete, we need 2.37 cubic yards. but they're not going to sell me 2.37. They always round the yards off to the nearest half yard. And I always have to round up. Even if I need 2.01, I need to round up to 2.5. So I'm going to have to order 2.5 yards of concrete. Now calculate the final cost of the concrete poured. Well, if I have to order 2.5 yards times $90 per yard, multiply it on a calculator, you're going to get that the concrete is going to cost me $225. Now they put steel rebar inside a concrete form. They put it on 2-foot gaps usually. There's a 3-inch gap here by the side because we don't want the rebar to stick out the edge of the concrete or it'll rust. So we leave a little 3-inch gap here. And our steel, our rebar, when we order it, it comes in a 10-foot length. That's the longest we can order it because that's about how long we'll fit on the truck to bring it to our house. If we ordered 18-foot long pieces, we'd need an 18-wheeler to bring it to our house, and that's much too long. So what they do is they put the first piece on here that's 10 foot long, and it's 3 inches over here, so it sticks over by 3 inches on that side. Then what they're going to do is take another piece and start it right here, and this piece will be 8 foot long. So what I need to do is calculate up how many of these 10-foot pieces I need to buy. You really want to use colors to draw these out. So please either get the highlighters out of the box or the colored pencils and draw these out. So these 10-foot lengths, I need to put them on all these here. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to go ahead and draw that for you. Now make a little tally at the bottom. So these are each 10 foot. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need 9 of the green ones. Now go in, and these are going to each be 8 foot long. Go ahead and draw those in as well. Count those up. I also have 9 of them that are the pink. Now I also need to put my rebar going this way. So once again, I'm going to have bars that go 10 foot long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're going to stick over 3 inches right here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw those in and count them up. So I drew these all in, and that gives me 10 of the orange ones. Now I have left this distance, which is going to be a 6-foot distance. So I'm going to take and draw each one of those in. And that gives me 10 that are 6-foot lengths. Now the only thing that might be different is these pink ones were 8 foot long. So when I take something that's 8 foot long and I cut it off of a 10-foot piece of rebar, so here's my 10-foot pieces of rebar that I get from the factory. These along here were 8 foot long, leaving me an extra piece that was 2 foot long. Can I use this extra 2-foot piece here for the purple ones? No, it's not going to be long enough, and the people who put the rebar in are never going to take these little 2-foot pieces, these little short 2-foot pieces, and put them in here and wire them all together. That's too much effort, and it would actually make our concrete weak. But if for some reason these over here were maybe 6 foot long here, and then I needed some 4-foot pieces somewhere, they would use the whole 4-foot piece if this had only been a 4-foot piece that was needed. So just be aware that they're never going to put a bunch of 2-foot pieces together to make this up, but if I can use the extra piece on the other side, we're definitely going to do that. So I've now got all my pieces laid out up here. I just add these up, and that gives me 38 total, and that's the number that's going to go right here. Multiply it out and put your number here. Use your calculator, put it there. Now finally, the last thing we need to do is in order to pour the concrete, I have to put forms all the way around the outside of this. In this case, to do the forms, all I need to do is calculate the perimeter. And even though they come in 12-foot lengths, they will go ahead and just nail those together because this is not a lasting part of our concrete pad. This is just we're putting it up there long enough to pour the concrete in, and then we rip these outside boards off. They're just there while the concrete's wet to keep it from running out on the yard. So we're just going to actually calculate the perimeter, which is 18 plus 16 plus 18 plus 16, add all the way around, add it up, and we get 68 feet. Add, 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 add. Now, my pieces come in 12-foot boards, so I just take this and divide by 12, and I get that I need 5.6 boards. Now, they're not going to sell me 5.6 boards. They're going to sell me either 5 or 6. So we clearly need to buy 6 boards when we go down to Lowe's. Multiply this out and put your answer here. Then add these 3 answers together, and here's your total cost. Finish doing that yourself on your calculator, then come and show me the notes, and then I'll give you the activity to do.